How's it going, everyone? It is Tuesday, July 23rd, 2024. Let's get into the current positions we have from last week's video, or yesterday's video, I should say. First is snow short. So let's look at this D1 on snow. We took this short a few days ago. It had a nice breakdown through D1 support. And right now it is pulling back a little bit. It looks like it is testing this support level. So let's zoom out a little bit on this stock. So you can see the move down. Here is the move up where it is pulling back. And it is testing this support level now, or this resistance support level that is now working as resistance. So on snow, what I'm going to do is put a trend line right here. We can get through that trend line, then we are in good shape. So it's pulling back a little bit. I'm still bearish on the stock. We're still holding this level right here. We know that after a big move, there'll be a little bit of a pullback, and then we'll get that next leg lower. JMIA. We're watching this stock pretty carefully today. So we took this stock yesterday. Over here, it had tested this level right here, breaking through it a little bit, and holding those gains very, very relatively strong yesterday. Today, it has been selling off, and it looks like it is coming back to test this breakout level right here, just around 13 bucks. So I'm watching to see if it can actually get through this level. What it does tell me that the selling pressure is heavy today. It has been down on a day where the market has been mildly bullish. Now, after this first leg lower, I thought the price action has been fairly choppy. We've seen some bounces. We've seen some moves lower. There's certainly been some heavier volume on the selling side. So it's nothing that I'm freaking out about. I try not to zoom in too much to the M5 chart on these swing trades. That's why I've been using this M30 chart here. So we're pulling back. I don't like how this pullback is pretty deep, but I know that I am close to my support level here. So if we break through, then I just take the loss and we call it a day. If, however, we start to find some support, and then we test this level again, that's probably where I'll take profits. But this just has me a little bit less bullish on the stock. Not crazy about this bearish engulfing hammer. I'd like to see a bit of a tail come into play at the end of day today. That would make me a little bit more bullish on the stock. It tells me that support has held, and we've actually started to gain some relative strength on this stock. So that's what I'm watching for in JMIA. But that's it. We're just playing it pretty cautious on this stock. What is the market looking like on a longer term time frame? So we got this pullback here. We're kind of moving back up a little bit. Again, still fundamentally mildly bullish here. One or two things to note that I thought were pretty interesting. So I'm going to pull up these two articles from JPM. I think this is a pretty nice source for some basic fundamental analysis. I've been learning a lot from reading some of these articles. You can subscribe to them and you get something in your email every Thursday. But here's a couple things that are pretty interesting. So first, we notice that IWM has seen a lot of money flow into this, especially post CPI. So what does that mean? Well, we know that there has been quite a bit of market concentration in this last leg of the rally, right? We notice here that IWM was not really rallying kind of from May onwards. It had been flat. And what was really moving the needle was QQQ. This stock was going higher, the more tech-focused stocks were driving the market. Now, we got some sell-off here in QQQ. It's actually coming pretty close to testing the 50-day SMA. So we're getting a sell-off, and we're getting some rotation from QQQ into IWM, and also into other stocks. If we put on RSP, RSP has made a very similar move up as well. So what does this mean? It means that the market is getting less concentrated and more balanced. And I think that's going to be a good thing for a longer term time frame. We want a wide market move, right? We don't want, if the market is moving up, we want all stocks to be participating in that move versus just a few stocks participating in that move. Because once a very narrow sector of stocks, if they start to falter, the entire market is going to falter as well. So that's the first thing that I noticed on a fundamental change that I thought that was pretty interesting. The second part was just on a bullish market. So right, so a lot of people are like, hey, SPY is at what 565 was the high of the SPY, right? Like how much farther can this market go? Especially if you consider where we came from the low of about 400 here on October 27th. The market has rallied quite a bit. So what does that mean? Well, a couple of things that I thought was interesting here. The first was that they're talking about AI and how there is a long runway. Not very few companies are actively using AI, so there is a pretty big room in the market for that to go. The first leg of AI is from hyperscalers. The next leg could be some other stuff. So, this could really flow in through many different types of companies. So basically, there's a big runway of AI here, and once companies start to figure out how to use it, there'll be a lot of profitability on it. It's not the same apples to apples comparison, but I like to consider the scale and the change of social media. Right? If you think about how Facebook came out in 2005, Twitter came out in 2006, when these companies came out, it was a big new thing, and it took us a while to figure out how to really use it. Now, if you look at companies today, every company has been very on top of their social media brand. It's become something that is very commonplace for both consumers and businesses. So, this is less than 20 years, right? A lot of them, after 10, 15 years, they started to get in on it. So think about that potential with AI, which could be even bigger. Now, second thing is the Fed's going to cut some interest rates. So, we're expecting some rate cuts in September. We also know that here's an interesting thing. 5 of the best 10 years of the S&P 500 came when the Fed was cutting interest rates without a recession. So if that scenario plays out, we have a historical case coming into play. We also have time on our side. Our bull run is only 21 months old. The median bull run market lasts 46 months. The median bull return is 110%. The current market total return is only 50% of the end of June. So even if we just hit the median, we have a lot of runway. There's many chances, if you can see here, that we could actually eclipse that median. The last couple of runs have been fairly strong. And some people are worried about these all-time highs. And apparently, if you invested at the all-time highs, you would have done slightly better than if you didn't invest at the all-time highs in the longer-term time frame. So fairly interesting, but I thought that was an interesting piece of fundamental info on just how exactly, what's kind of been changing in the market. And just to summarize all of this, I think the same forces fundamentally that are driving the market are still existing. We're having the lower rate cuts, inflation's coming down a little bit cooler. The economy is still not in a recession, although we're keeping an eye on those ISM services. And we know that the market seems to be bouncing a little bit more, given this high move in RSP as well as IWM. And, it's not that I'm guessing this move, right? This is literally the price action of this ETF is what's telling me that we are moving up higher, right? This is a heavy volume breakout, right? Heavy volume breakout, massive technical move. I mean, we're going from 200 to a high of 226. That is a 10% move in an ETF in a matter of days, right? In about a week. So that is very strong. Okay. So technically, longer term here, we're still in this bullish channel. We have come down. I think we have tested just about the bottom of this channel. My line gets a little bit messed up here, unfortunately. But if I were to redraw it like this, so kind of pretty much tested the bottom of this bullish channel. We had some little bit of selling. Yesterday, we had gapped up, and we had held the gap, able to close above the new high of the day. Had some decent volume here. So short term, a little bit more neutral. We want to see if we can add to these gains or not. Let's zoom in a little bit to what's happening on the M30 chart. Here's our gap down. Here's our selling. And then you can see after this is a big move, after this is a big move, it's just been a little bit choppy. So we had some follow through. Today we had a gap up, or yesterday we had a gap up, test. Mildly breakout, move to the upside, test. So far, the bounce has been not super strong, but it's been mildly bullish. I think that Markets are waiting for mega cap tech to announce. We have Google and Tesla coming out after the earn today. So, that is going to be some market moving news. You want to keep it light on your swing trades, not overload too much to either side and not favor either side too much over here. Intraday. So I already talked about yesterday how we had this two-sided price action. And at the end of the day, it just kind of became pretty garbage, didn't really do too much in the market. So today we have a pretty similar scenario: flat open, test the upside, test the downside, test the upside, test the downside. So far we have this red candle that looks to be a red solo. And right now we are finding some tails under body. So on a day like this, here's actually where I want to find relatively strong stocks. And when I see a couple of tails like this is when I'm going to start to look for some relatively strong longs, relatively strong stocks, favoring the long side here. And my assumption is that we are going to hold this low and definitely this low, right? I have this assumption over here. And if we don't hold that, then I am on a warning mode. So let's take a look at a couple of stocks here on the long side that we like. One that I thought was pretty nice was First Hims today, kind of coming up through its 50 SMA. It's nice, steady grind higher. Has been pretty much ignoring the market all day. So very, very nice stock, not a ton of volume. I really like HWM as well. So the stock has been slowly grinding higher, and the key tell was on this 12-20 candle. You want to see what stocks did not react to that, and this was one of them, right? Barely moved, and as soon as the market found support, we got some buying higher. So I like what I'm seeing in the stock, and I'd want to get it on one of these compressions. See if I can get in a compression and have it break through the high of the day, and I can take some pretty nice profits on that stock. So HWM is pretty nice. I am also eyeing GE over here. It's made a pretty big move. You can also see that it's been compressing for a while, finding some support right here around 173.80-ish. So this level, you can see how it came back, test to this prior high, test. We're absorbing some of the selling pressure. So I may potentially try to get in on this stock very close to support over here, with the expectation that this is going to hold, and that this stock, the market, is also going to hold over here. Amazon is okay, a little bit choppy, finding some support at this level here, but a little bit too not as strong in my opinion. So not crazy about Amazon. Now you can see that, look, this is why we waited a little bit here. We're poking through this level. We're making a new low. So now I'm already feeling that longs potentially might be off the table. Okay, so one consideration I have for today is a Tesla time spread. Now, we don't exceed it. It has not exceeded earnings. The average move has been far less than the expected move, and the difference is pretty decent, at least 40. So this is a decent amount of difference for me. For a stock that has a 0 chance of exceeded earnings, right? You might say like, look, VRT has a higher difference, but the exceeded earnings is a little bit higher. So I need to want to have a bigger difference to warrant that level of probability. So depending on what the market does today, I am going to recommend the Tesla time spread. So a few things here on this time spread. First, we want to see really just what happens with the market today. If the market has a dead day, then you can enter this time spread. But if there's a trending day, then if you enter an at the money time spread, Tesla might still move and get farther away from that strike price. So that's what you want to wait for on this stock. But that is probably going to be my pick of the day. So I'm going to add that to our YouTube picks. And then right now, we're just looking to see some relatively strong, relatively weak stocks. I'm more inclined to favor the short side here, the long side here, but I think we're at a bit of a juncture. I don't really like this poke down over here. I want to see us to clear some of these levels here. Now, at least get above the 8 EMA. because this poke through to test the low of the day tells you that the selling pressure is still here and it should have subsided. So I think this is a good day to keep it pretty light. Pick your spots very carefully, pick your stocks very carefully. Once everything lines up, then you can get in on a nice win. So I think just test the Tesla time spread for today. And that is the game plan for the rest of the day. Hope this video was helpful, and we will take a look at how that time spread did in tomorrow's video.